Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm not Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Number 259.
On Now You Know. We're brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. Support creating independent news every week by heading over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, and there you're going to find some awesome perks. And we're brought to you by BigBattery.com. No matter what you need to power, Big Battery can provide you with the latest battery tech at the best price per kilowatt hour, guaranteed. Their batteries are easily installed, require zero maintenance, and they're made right here in the U.S. Pick up yours today at BigBattery.com and use code NowYouKnow for 5% off at checkout. All right, AI Day. That was frickin' awesome. I am so excited to talk about it.
Unpacking that.
There was so much to it. I mean, 2 hours of just goodies in there. It had one purpose, though, and it might have been hard to tell what that purpose was.
You think?
I think so. I think for the average person, they were watching it thinking like, whoa, is this to, get the stock price up or something? No, it had everything to do with recruiting.
Oh, you didn't think it was about dancing robots the entire time?
I thought Elon was going to start a dancing robot studio.
You think it was Grimes in there the whole time?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Who could have that been?
That's some pretty good dance moves.
I don't know. I feel she could have been better. Yeah. So anyways, it seemed like it was a long technical explanation of their software and hardware. And at the big announcement about the project was Optimus.
Yes.
Optimus Subprime. Not a mortgage. Not a transformer either. It's a humanoid robot that Elon says will be producing next year.
Prototype. I mean, he says prototype, so let's not get our hopes up. But even the Tesla bot announcement and the Q&A at the end were also for recruiting purposes because Tesla is, let's face it, limited by talent. I mean, they said it a few times during the event. That's what's really limiting how fast they can move forward.
That's what makes a company better. So what else are they going to do? I mean, at the end of the day, they've been doing that for every one of their events. It's kind of like the call to action is, hey, we want smart people.
Yeah.
Come party with us. Let's make the world better. By the way, didn't you and Jesse actually make this prediction? You called this a while back.
I think we did. Check this out. All right, so the fifth technology we're going to talk about here is personal humanoid robots. In this decade coming up, we're going to get autonomous humanoid robots. Yeah, so I don't want to gloat or anything, but back in January, we kind of called it that they'd be making a humanoid robot this decade. I honestly didn't think it'd be this soon.
You could take a victory lap. Go ahead.
Okay, a little victory lap. We kind of knew that if you're working on autonomous driving cars, you're basically solving all the same problems you need to solve for a humanoid robot. So yeah, we kind of called it. So what do we know about Tesla Bot or project codenamed Optimus, which I don't know if they're supposed to let that cat out of the bag, but they did.
Yeah, no, you could tell from the engineer, like he said it, slipped, and then was just like,
got to roll with it now.
Yeah, and then Elon's like, yeah, that's what we're actually calling it, Optimus Subprime. So it's gonna be a humanoid. It's gonna have 2 hands. It's gonna have 10 fingers, a height of about 5'8", and weigh about 125 pounds, which that's actually pretty impressive for the size.
Right. Yeah.
Thought that would have been more weight.
Yeah.
It should be able to lift about 10 pounds with its arm and extend and deadlift 150 pounds and carry 45 pounds casually. And it'll have a max speed of only 5 miles per hour.
Yeah, and this is important to Elon, I guess, because he wants to make sure that we feel comfortable working around these humanoid robots and that we can escape if we need to.
Yeah, we're not able.
Here's what he said.
We're setting it such that it is, at a mechanical level, at a physical level, you can run away from it. And most likely overpower it. So hopefully that doesn't ever happen, but you never know. So it'll be a light, yeah, anyway, 5 miles an hour. You can run faster than that, you'll be fine.
Like I just still 5 seems slow.
It seems fast to me, actually, because think about it. Like, yes, you could outrun a robot for a short period of time, but that thing can keep going.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run out of steam. It's gonna catch me.
Yeah, that's fair. And I guess Terminator. Most people have seen that, so it's like let's not turn it into that. So we're gonna let people know 5 mile max. I wonder if it actually it cycles down and it gets slower after running and chasing you.
Right.
I don't know. So Elon doesn't actually want it to be a part of dystopian future. He said that, in fact, Optimus would be friendly, which I'm curious at how they're going to solve that problem. It's fascinating to think, like, here's the guy that, he was probably the first person to raise the flag for we should watch out for AI.
Right.
And now he's creating
it.
But
this is kind of like every sci-fi movie that goes wrong.
The difference is, though he's warned us about it and he says, like, hey, we should fear this, that's why he's doing it.
Right.
He's getting ahead of it.
Better for it to be in his hands.
We better have
else.
our own army first in case someone else, Bezos or anybody, decides to make their own robot.
Jeff who?
Yeah, I don't... what? Is he still in space? He should be.
So Elon wants this robot to do dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks. And I think this is important to note. If Elon pulls this off, if Tesla can make a humanoid autonomous robot, and even if he's wrong about the timeline, even if it takes him longer than he thinks, even if it takes 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, then this marks a point in history that will change life for humans as we know it. This will be the first time in human history that humans do not have to do physical labor if they don't want to.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's amazing. I love doing physical stuff, but I don't like it when my wife tells me to do it. Like, I like to do it because I want to do it. And this is the difference, right? I mean, we all like to do, woodworking or working in the garden. But if you have to go weed, it's not the same. So, yeah, I would love to be able to say, Tesla bot, go weed the garden.
Or even have a helper.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the neat part. It's like you can just double your workflow.
Right. I'm going to take a break. You keep weeding.
Yeah. I'm going to go get this cold iced tea. You keep going.
Should I get one for you or... Oh, no, you don't need one. That's right.
Oh, that's right. You want some batteries? You need batteries? But Elon said that humans can keep doing their physical labor if they want, but Optimus and its following generations of robots will be able to do the physical labor that humans don't want to do.
And this is profound in so many ways. I mean, you can immediately go to dystopian science fiction and say, this is horrible. We're going to be taken over by robots. And I think we should be very wary of this. But there are implications here that, like the Industrial Revolution, we can't even fathom yet.
Well, Elon did say we're going to need universal basic income.
Yeah,
here.
we're going to have to seriously talk about that now, not just like as a thing in the future. Like, we need to talk about it now so we can figure it out, because these humanoid robots are coming soon and they are going to displace jobs. Let's be honest.
Well, they say there's a labor shortage. I don't believe that.
There won't be any more.
No, there definitely won't be any more.
I mean, how to handle societal impacts of humanoid autonomous robots is a bit above my pay grade, but we need to start thinking about this and imagining this future, because it's indeed coming.
Elon also talked about the economy and how it's limited by labor, and now that we have almost limitless labor, so ipso facto, almost a limitless economy?
Yeah, check out what he had to say.
This, I think, will be quite profound, because if you say, like, what is the economy? It is... at the foundation, it is labor. So what happens when there is, no shortage of labor? This is why I think long-term that there will need to be universal basic income. Yeah, but I think it's essentially in the future, physical work will be a choice. If you want to do it, you can, but you won't need to do it. And I think it obviously has profound implications for the economy, because given that the economy at its foundational level is labor, I mean, capital equipment is just distilled labor, then is there any actual limit to the economy? Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean, this is so exciting. We're going to be talking about this more in our Now You Know Investor Club bonus story, because this is going to have major implications for Tesla's value going forward. So join us on Patreon for that.
But let's get back to what the first version of Optimus is able to do.
Right. According to Elon, you should be able to tell it to go to the store and bring you back some groceries. And I think here's the amazing part. You could go out right now and buy a robot arm, right? Mm-hmm. It's about $15,000. But you would also need to code it down to the last nth degree. Like, most of these arms, you can't just be like, yeah, do that thing. You have to tell it, here, here's how you pick up that thing. And if anything changes, it's very hard for that arm to be like, oh, well, the thing that I'm supposed to pick up is not there.
As a child, I had a set of Legos called Mindstorm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, people might know that or not. I'm showing my age here. It was one of the first Lego systems that you could buy that had a actual CD-ROM.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, right?
Now you've dated yourself.
It had a CD-ROM that you plug in, you program your computer, and you can program the little motherboard bot and have it do certain tasks and functions. And one of my favorite things that I had it do was I would have it bring me, not the butter, not like the Rick and Morty reference, but like the salt and pepper was my big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would just pass the pepper and the salt towards me. Butter would have been pretty poetic too. And it just, my dad would get pissed because I want this at the table, and it's like, this is not the time. It's very cool what you're doing. I appreciate it, but this is not the time. But it's like, no, this is the time. And now look at where we've come.
Yeah.
Look at where we're going.
Yeah. So, I think the big difference here is because it's going to be autonomous, you're not going to have to do, you probably
you
had
don't
to
have to do the coding.
You had to code that for days, I'm sure, to get it just right. So it would bring, and then if someone moved the salt, it probably had to go hunt around and,
It wasn't that smart. It's like somebody thinking of go get a Roomba and they're like, hey, can you go, you have to put a note on top of the Roomba, please drop my groceries here and bring them back.
Right.
It's only going to go in a straight line and it's going to get lost on the way. This is doing everything for you.
Yeah. So, imagine just being able to, just like you would explain to an employee that you hired, here's the nails, here's the hammer, do it. Same thing here. You're going to be able to give it very limited, just voice instructions, and it should be able to follow it. And I think that's the part we're kind of overlooking. You're not going to need a whole team of engineers, software coders to tell this thing what to do. It's going to be your butler, your maid, your cook, whatever, out of the box.
Yeah. Speak. It's a Siri, speak into it, tell it what to do. It'll hopefully process and do it.
Yeah.
It's going to have, so there's 40 actuators and there's a screen where its face will be able to give you useful information.
Yeah. There was some pushback during the Q&A where someone asked Elon why anyone would spend what will probably be a lot of money for a robot that can do manual labor.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the short to medium term economics of the bot. I guess I understand the long-term vision of replacing physical labor, but I also think repetitive, dangerous, and boring tasks tend to not be so highly compensated. And so I just don't see how to reproduce the, start with a supercar and then break into the lower end of the market. How do you do that for a robot humanoid?
Well, I guess you'll just have to see.
I just love Elon's response.
Yeah. Elon wasn't there to discuss the revenue and the marketing implications, and that's why I think he dismissed this guy. He wasn't there to try and sell you on it, because all he's trying to do is recruit great engineers, and he knew they would get it. And how about that question about these robots becoming human companions?
Because of its human form factor, is emotion or companionship at all thought about on the product roadmap at all?
Well, we certainly hope this does not feature in a dystopian sci-fi movie. Really, at this point, we're saying maybe this robot can. We're trying to be as literal as possible. Can it do boring, dangerous, repetitive jobs that people don't want to do? And once we can have it do that, then maybe it can do other things too. But that's the thing that would be really great to have.
Lex Friedman would like that. I would too. I'm not gonna lie. I love you, Lex. It's fine. It's kind of nice.
At any level of companionship, I'm sure that's what they're gonna fill the void for, right? It's either gonna be just working alongside them or more companionship than that. And there's gonna be companies that pop up that make different things for these robots.
It's your new barber.
Yeah.
It's like you tell everything to your barber.
And for people who say this is going to take my job, it's going to create new jobs, and that's one of them is companies that make things for the robots.
Robot lines. You call in and talk to.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, that's fair.
And I want to talk about some of the implications of Optimus.
Yeah, we know that Elon loves the makers.
Yeah, he said this before, right? If you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. But in many countries like the US, we have lost much of our manufacturing base, manufacturing which helped build our economy to what it is today.
Yeah, no, totally. How many US companies today have had their products built somewhere else? China? Why? Labor rate. It's that simple. Everything's less there, so everybody's like, that's what we're going to do.
Right. If you and I wanted to start a company today with a factory here in the US, we probably couldn't compete depending on what we're making.
We'd try, but it's not going to happen.
Right. So we would be forced to outsource. This is going to allow us to bring labor back to this country. So what is Optimus going to do? It's going to bring back manufacturing to places like the US and Europe. It's going to have profound impacts on economies and on societies. And Optimus is going to speed up our colonization of Mars. That is Elon's true purpose, I think, behind Optimus Subprime.
Optimus Subprime.
Yeah. So, what are the advantages going to be once Optimus is fully functional to colonizing Mars?
What aren't they going to be?
Right. I mean, the most dangerous part of colonizing Mars is the years of, travel. You may not come back, radiation. This bot doesn't care.
Sad to miss your bot, but
Right.
it's off to do bigger and better things.
Yeah. So, I mean, when Elon builds 1,000 starships and sends them off to Mars full of tens of thousands of bots, they can be building our city for us on Mars, and then it'll be all ready to move into.
Turnkey.
Huh,
welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to your new home, your new planet. So it just sounds so incredible to be able to say that.
Yeah.
And it still can be a reality real soon.
Yeah. I mean, we could be talking this decade.
Yeah. I mean, AI Day culminated the announcement about Optimus, but before that, we also got a fascinating masterclass for AI in self-driving, too.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's software and hardware engineers pulled back the curtain and showed us what they're working on, both on the software side, showing us how they're using computer vision and neural nets to predict the best course of action. I mean, how they're learning to label without the need for hundreds of humans to do it, and how they shifted from single snapshots of the world to continuously moving video and building vector maps of the world. Then they unveiled the hardware side, where Ganesh Venkataramanan, Tesla's senior director of autopilot hardware and the leader of the Dojo project, he unveiled their incredible new Dojo D1 chip. It's a neural net chip built from the ground up that is energy efficient and fast. And then they took all of these D1 chips, they put them together into a training tile that looks like this. And then they took a bunch of those training tiles, put them together into an exapod supercomputer, which Elon says has enough power to simulate the human brain.
I mean, let's be honest. We're not computer scientists here.
Not by any stretch.
Would like to be, but we're not. But most of the technical aspects of that, Tesla's engineers discussed and went over our heads. And let's remember, that's by design and that's the intention of it. I mean,
Right.
Again, like you're saying, this is a casting call.
Right. This was not aimed at the average Joe. Elon wanted to recruit the best and the brightest minds to come work for Tesla. That was really the whole point of AI Day. Tesla is people limited, and that is their limiting factor at the moment. So this presentation was designed to excite those bright people out there and get them to apply to Tesla for jobs building these systems. If you got this presentation, if you understood what they're talking about, and you like working ridiculously long hours to build things that will change the world, then I hope you have applied to work at Tesla.
Great disclaimer, Zach. Yeah. The fact that the rest of us got to see what they're working on, though, that's also amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what I saw was a very confident team. In my opinion, it is only now a matter of time before the Tesla team solves self-driving. Being able to drive a car autonomously many times safer than a human looks like a certainty to me now. And that, to me, was a big takeaway from AI Day.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I mean, let's just talk about one aspect of driving that makes it super dangerous called occlusion. So what is occlusion?
Occlusion is the fact that drivers can't see everything they need to see at all times while they're driving. I mean, what's just around the corner? Is there a person that's about to step out from behind the truck? You don't know what's coming at you at all points in time.
Exactly. It's our worst nightmare as a driver. Now, you might be saying a computer camera can't see those things any better than I can, but that's where you'd be wrong. And Andre talked about it.
This is a super useful hack because, say, in the car, the network needs to produce the velocity. It just has to use the historical information and guess what the velocity is. But here, we can look at both the history but also the future and basically cheat and get the correct answer of the kinematics, like velocity, acceleration, etc. One more advantage is that we can have like different tracks, but we can stitch them together even through occlusions. Because we know the future, we have future tracks, we can match them and then associate them. So here you can see the pedestrians on the other side of the road are persisted even through multiple occlusions by these cars. This is really important for the planner because the planner needs to know if it saw someone, it still needs to account for them even then they're occluded.
Yeah, and here's an important point that came out during AI Day. To computers, the world is moving really slow compared to what you and I processes at. Not only that, I mean, there's more eyes.
Yes.
We have 2.
Right.
It's like Tesla's got 8.
Yeah, you know what it feels like to be driving down a busy city street, right? All these pedestrians and bicyclists and cars moving around, crosswalks and traffic lights and cars changing lanes. You make split-second judgments about when it's safe to go and when it's not. And much of this is just built up from your experience.
I mean, much of that's built on sketchy data, but this, to them, it's like the Matrix. Like when the bullets are hurling past Keanu Reeves and he's doing the whole,
Right.
That's what the computers see.
Exactly.
It's not like me doing this to you. You didn't react.
Right.
Like, so you're not reacting.
Right,
You're not
right.
reacting.
Right. Human reaction time is way slower than a computer reaction time. And in that split second when you decide it's safe to change lanes, what did you really see? I mean, everything is happening so fast. Do you really know where every other car and bike and person is?
that guy had a red shirt on that I just hit. Whoops. It's like that's all you got out of that. But to the computer,
Right.
it analyzed the entire scene, and that's why AI is going to be superior to us.
Exactly.
Every time. It's always going to win.
I mean, to a computer, as Elon said, everything is moving slowly. He put it like this.
The thing to appreciate is that from the computer standpoint, everything is moving slowly. So to a human, things are moving fast. To the computer, they are not moving fast. If you think it was like, going the other direction, like rendering, with full ray tracing, neural net enhanced graphics on something like Cyberpunk or any advanced video game, doing 60 frames a second, perfectly rendered. Like, how long would it take a person to even render one frame, and without any mistakes? Can't be done. I mean, it would take like a month just to render one frame out of 60 in a second in a video game. It's computers are fast and humans are slow.
And you have only 2 eyes in one location. Teslas have 8 eyes. All of them are going around the car. They stitch together everything that's around you. You've got this 360-degree matrix. It's like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
In that split second when you decide to change lanes and you can't see that bike that's moving out from behind the parked car because you turned your head, the Tesla cameras catch it and react faster than a human because Tesla is working on prediction software. Where's that bike headed? Where is its trajectory?
And we've learned, I mean, they're getting really good at that.
One of the things we're seeing is that the car's predictive ability is eerily good. It's really getting better than human in terms of predicting, like you said, like predict what this road will look like when it's out of sight, like it's around the bend, and it predicts the road with very high accuracy, predict pedestrians or cyclists wherever behind, where it just sees a little corner of the bicycle and a little bit through the windows of the bus. And its ability to predict things is going to be much better than humans, like really way beyond.
Right. Yeah, we see this often where we have something that is not visible, but the neural network is making up stuff that actually is very sensible. Sometimes it's eerily good, and you have to you're wondering this is in the training set. And actually in the limit, you can imagine the neural net has enough parameters to potentially remember Earth. So in the limit, it could actually give you the correct answer, and it's kind of like an HD map baked into the weights of the neural net.
I want to talk about the simulation part of the presentation because it kind of blew my mind. I mean, how are we seeing a Cybertruck here? So, I mean, that's not a real Cybertruck.
No.
So, I mean, what? This is the part where I'm like, did they just like playing games at Tesla? Like, why are they taking the time to make a photorealistic simulation?
It's what you need to do.
But why?
It's not a game. If you're not trying to fabricate reality, you're not doing it right.
But,
it's not good enough.
So, I mean, Elon talked about how we don't have enough data of certain things. Like what?
Because we don't have as many crashes.
But why do we need to simulate crashes?
Because that's the most important thing. That's what we're worried about. Safety is number one.
Oh, I see. So basically, like this footage is showing here, you want to show things that you don't see very often, like people running down a highway.
Tesla has millions of miles of data, but not also to their credit. Fortunately, they don't have too much crash data because they've prevented so many crashes. So they have to simulate more problems than what you see.
And look at how photorealistic it is. Yeah. I mean, that's 500 million labeled cuboids, as they call them, which is, I mean, and now they don't have to do that with human labelers anymore. Right. It's done by computer. Mm-hmm. I was fascinated by how Tesla can take camera data from individual cars and then combine the data from the same place and create a bigger, more accurately labeled space. Check this out.
Cool thing is we can bring them all together into a single giant optimization. So here, these 16 different trips are organized aligned using various features such as road edges, lane lines. All of them should agree with each other and also agree with all of their image space observations. Together, this produces an effective way to label the road surface, not just where the car drove, but also in other locations that it hasn't driven yet.
It's just super intriguing to see how they stitch it all together.
Yeah. And all using just cameras. I mean, no LiDAR, no radar.
Who saw that coming? Like that was surprise.
Right.
We're going to take those out. And they've done this in just such a short time frame, too. Like, think about that. When Elon said that we're pivoting to cameras only, how long has it been?
Right.
It's been 3 months.
3 months. That's amazing. I mean, when they talked about asking the fleet for scenes of snow hitting the cameras off of trucks in front of them.
it produces lots of video clips where shit's falling out of all other vehicles. And we send this through our auto labeling pipeline that was able to label 10K clips within a week. This would have taken several months with humans labeling every single clip here. So we did this for 200 different conditions, and we were able to very quickly create large data sets, and that's how we were able to remove this.
They were able to label 10,000 clips in less than a week to solve this problem when it normally would have taken months with humans.
Yeah. The problem being that you lose vision temporarily when snow hits the camera. I've thought this a lot. I've been like, well, they're never going to be able to drive these things in snow because of snow. But just like a human, you should remember where everything was before your vision got blocked. And that's in early versions of FSD, it forgets. As soon as the camera gets blocked, it's like, oh, nothing is there.
What happened?
Right.
I don't recall. Where am I? Who am I?
Right. And now...
What's my purpose?
Check it out. They've solved that problem. And how'd they do it? Basically, they just said, we need 10,000 examples of this happening so we can train the computer. And they did. So I've watched AI Day multiple times now. And even though I still don't understand all of the jargon, what I do understand is that those Tesla engineers have a passion for what they're doing. And they have a confidence that they have cracked autonomy.
Yep. And if you want to learn what this means for Tesla stock price, you won't want to miss what we have on the Now You Know Investor Club channel bonus stories for this week.
So AI Day had all of these software and hardware engineers talking about all the different aspects of what they're doing. And yes, it took over 2 hours, but I think of this as a job fair. Saying to people out there, hey, look, we need all kinds of people who are good at all kinds of things like optical sensor manipulation and roboticists and camera designers. Tesla wants people who get the mission and are passionate. And I think Tesla did a great job with AI Day, and I think they accomplished their goal.
I mean, the markets and the media probably didn't get that. But
they did not.
That's generally what happens anyways at every Tesla event.
Yep.
Unfortunately. And so that leads us to our next story, an update on FSD 9.2.
Yeah, Elon tweeted out last week a list of improvements that just came with the latest update. Some of them make sense. For instance, clear to go boost through turns on minor to major roads.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like. If you're turning onto a faster road from a side street and you want the car to accelerate up to travel speed faster, and that has been, from the videos we've seen of beta testers, earlier versions on FSD have been timid, to say the least.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's that thing where you're kind of exposed, right? You take, say, a left-hand turn and you don't want to be in that intersection any longer than you have to. And up until now, they've kind of creeped. It seems like they've improved that. Okay, but here's one I didn't understand. What is improved peak behavior?
As humans, we're pretty good at figuring out why the person in front of us might be driving to. They could be on their phone. They could just whatever it may be. And it's because they're lost or they're looking at their phone. There's a good reason that they change lanes and drive, or people will just drive around them. But what if they're going slower because there's a multi-lane traffic jam coming up? Then you may not want to pass them just to find yourself also slamming on the brakes.
So I guess now Tesla's able to look at that driver and kind of figure out, like, what are they up to?
Right.
Kind of like a human would, which is kind of amazing if you think about it. Because
Absolutely.
we use a lot of clues, like, are they driving like a gold Buick Skylark? Because maybe they're just older and they drive slower and maybe I should pass them.
That was one of my favorite parts about the radar, was because, you know, when they were using that, it had the predictive algorithm that it could see the car in front of you.
Yeah.
And if two cars were merging, it would be able to be like, hey, we should brake for this just in case, because this is not something that's a normal traffic pattern.
Right.
So I'm kind of bummed about losing that, but also I'm sure that certain things like this is a solution that they're just trying to come back to that.
Right.
So.
All right. And what's VRU stand for? Elon says new VRU velocity model with 12% improvement to velocity and better VRU clear to go performance.
You like that, don't you?
It sounds great. I just don't know what it means.
Yeah. So it stands for vulnerable road user.
What's that?
So think bikes and people, anything that's not in a steel cage, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So basically it's referring to better interactions with bikes, pedestrians, other things that are on the road.
Oh, right. Because like up until now, it would see a person and just kind of be like, must stop.
Yep.
But now it can be like, where's that person going?
Right. It's like, what's the line of sight or the traffic, the way that where are they headed?
How about this one? Version 1 of the multimodal predictions of where other vehicles expected to drive. What is that?
It's what we learned at AI Day, that Tesla's now able to start actually making predictions about where the other vehicles are going, like how we do as humans. You know, up until now, Tesla just saw a car and it said, "There's a car. Don't hit it." And now FSD is starting to say, "There's a car. It's probably going to drive on this path through this intersection."
And how about this one? New lanes network with 50,000 more clips, almost double from the new auto labeling pipeline. Cool. I'm surprised to hear that they only had the system working with 25,000 clips before.
That's what they do, man. And Tesla's just beginning to use its auto labeling. Whether it's before it just had a static frame for labeling, now it's just like Tesla's able to label the video and do it without humans. It's very exciting.
But Sean asked a question a lot of us are probably wondering, what comes after 9.2, 9.3 or 10?
Yeah, Elon's response was, well, 9.3, as you would imagine, and then probably 9.4, and then maybe 10. Significant architecture changes will happen when 10 comes along.
But then Austin asked what many of us want to know. Got a revised estimate on the button release?
Yeah, and Elon responded, so beta 10 or maybe 10.1. It's going for pure vision to set us back initially. I mean, vision plus course radar had trapped us in a local maximum, just like a level cap. Pure vision requires fairly advanced real-world AI, but that's how the whole road system is designed to work, and ends with vision.
Okay, so button release on version 10 or 10.1. So what are we talking like? Is that, I mean, I'm guessing more than a couple months then.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to say.
I think we got really excited when he said, what was it, originally 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Which,
It's
by
been
the
2
way,
weeks a few times.
we've got a 2 weeks t-shirt on EcoWare. Bobby, why don't you show everyone the 2 weeks t-shirt? Just because, why not? Everything's 2 weeks away, right?
Seems like that's the case.
But this has got to be more than 2 weeks away. I think even more than 2 months away. I do want my button, but I guess
I'd also rather have a system that's going to totally surprise me instead
Yeah.
of be like, it's a minor update bump
Right.
that we've been seeing.
Right.
You know?
It could be a good Christmas present.
That would be a great Christmas present.
Wouldn't it?
Or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you're into.
And any talk about Tesla's full self-driving wouldn't be complete without the latest bull from NHTSA and the FTC.
Yep. Zach is, of course, referring to the recent National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's investigation into Tesla's crashes.
Now, I don't know what these two Senator Democrats, Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut and Ed Markey from here in Massachusetts, have against Tesla, but they definitely have some grudge because they keep pressuring NHTSA and now the Federal Trade Commission to investigate Tesla, saying in their latest letter, "We write to express our serious concerns about Tesla's misleading advertising of its autopilot and full self-driving features. Tesla's marketing has repeatedly overstated the capabilities of its vehicles, and these statements increasingly pose a threat to motorists and other users of the road. Accordingly, we urge you to open an investigation into potentially deceptive and unfair practices in Tesla's advertising and marketing of its driving automation systems and take appropriate enforcement action to ensure the safety of all drivers on the road." You know what, guys? While you're doing that, how about do something about people texting? Because last I checked, about 40% of the people I see are texting while driving.
Hey, Zach, what's your car say when you engage autopilot?
It says this is a driver assistance feature. You must keep your hands on the wheel at all time and your eyes on the road. Something like that.
Huh. Why does it say that?
Because it's not a full self-driving thing. It's a driver assistance feature. If the argument here is that you can't name something that is misleading, then I think we have to take 5 Hour Energy and Diet Coke off the market because those are misleading.
Everything's misleading.
Everything's misleading. I mean, we all know that. Is it all because of the word autopilot? Because I'm getting tired of this argument. Like, do we have to just pick a crappy name for it because, you know, that would be less misleading?
I think it's full self-driving gets lost in the weeds for people more than anything. They hear
guess.
that, even though that's what the chip is and what it will do, but
Right.
it also doesn't lay any claim currently that that's what's happening.
Right.
If you buy the ticket, you take the ride. If you're going to engage autopilot, you are still responsible and you are still liable. These reports that come out, it's people that just aren't responsible.
Right.
And they also don't want to accept liability or accept the truth of their actions.
Yeah.
So I mean, these senators repeated claims that Tesla Autopilot is not safe and have finally gotten NHTSA to open an investigation last week into 11 Tesla accidents, which were responder vehicles were involved, and 4 of them occurred this year. I mean, we all heard about that.
Yeah, I mean, in each accident, NHTSA says that autopilot was engaged. They say most incidents took place after dark, and the crash scenes encountered included scene control measures such as first responder vehicle lights, flares, an illuminated arrow board, and road cones. The involved subject vehicles were all confirmed to have been engaged in either autopilot or traffic-aware cruise control during the approach to the crashes. And here's a list of the accidents under investigation. So what I want to say here is, again, what you just said, which is, yes, this is a driver assistance feature. As it approached these scenes, you as a driver should have been, watching the vehicle to be able to take over it at any moment, not just being like, hey, I'm going to go to sleep and it'll get me home.
Yeah, to anybody that's actually out there actively using Tesla's autopilot, I mean, you know this as well as I do. It has that fear of bridges right now. That's the greatest bug that's going on. It's because it's a stationary object. The car is so busy looking at the traffic and what's going on. That's just this version of autopilot. It's going to improve exponentially. But the problem is this bug exists. And when it sees a safety vehicle, it doesn't have to be a safety vehicle. It's any vehicle that's stationary on a highway. You're not supposed to have that. So the car's not responding to that properly, but that's also just letting us know, it's like a litmus test that the drivers aren't paying attention.
Exactly. I mean, please, people, I've asked this before. Some of you watching know these senators. So take them for a drive in your Tesla and set them straight about how Teslas are the safest cars on the road.
Take them for a drive.
AP is a driver assist feature. If drivers are relying solely on AP, then they are at fault, period. Stop wasting taxpayer money investigating this. This is all going to be moot soon when full self-driving is fully functional. Okay, Steven, I don't want to give away anything to anyone who hasn't watched your video that came out yesterday on Rich Rebuild's channel, but you recently were driving a Model S Plaid, and I heard that you tested it on the drag strip.
Yeah, I had one for a week.
Yeah, and you also got to like tear it down and look it under the hood and look it put it up on the lift, and you guys need to go watch the video because
the engineering marvel, the departure that they've taken from the original Model S. It's absolutely incredible how far that they have come. It's a Matchbox car on the bottom. I mean, the aerodynamics are incredible for starters.
And you tested it at the drag strip. Like,
you keep getting back to the drag strip. Yes, that
well, the reason
was more
why
exciting to see the car. I mean, people have seen it go down the road.
Well, the reason is because last week Brooks from Drag Time's YouTube channel released a head-to-head drag race, the quickest production cars in the world, the Rimac Nevera versus the Tesla Model S Plaid.
We know what won. I mean, the Nevera's a beast. Period. I mean, you've reported on this car on TTM before. I mean, it has 1,914 horsepower. It's a 4-motor electric car that weighs 4,733 pounds, and it costs $2.4 million.
Yes, the Rivera won 3 out of 3 of the drag times, coming in with an 8.58 second quarter mile versus the Plaid at the 9.27 second quarter mile.
Yeah, I got 9.6 at the Plaid. But, you know, I mean, I'm also not the best of drag. I don't drag race all the time.
Right, sure.
That was still pretty damn awesome, and I got kicked out, and I couldn't try it again. So that's what.
Wait, what? You got kicked out? Why?
Oh, yeah. If you don't have a roll cage, if you go under 10 seconds, you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
That seems a little unfair with electric cars because they're much less likely to have problems that that nice car would have.
It's more so that if you're going to go that fast.
Right. Safety
any
first.
Car's going to have that problem. If you have any issue, it's the driver that they're worried about.
Why am I not surprised that you were kicked out? Okay.
It's par for the course for me, I suppose. Now, the Nevera is technically considered a production car because as long as you make 30 or more, you're a production vehicle. The Plaid would be argued that, of course, it's a much more of a production car because anybody that wants to spend $124,000 versus $2.4 million, a lot more attainable. It also seats 5, and it weighs just 100 pounds more. So
that is pretty amazing, actually. The fact that it's a 5-seater, 4-door, and it only weighs 100 pounds more. Look, I don't want to take anything away from Rimac.
You can't.
The Nevera is a beast, and it's all electric, and it deserves our admiration and respect. But having said that, I do want to point out that Tesla was able to accomplish 0 to 60 time of 2.08 seconds versus Nevera's 1.9. So really fast. And a quarter mile time of just 0.69 seconds slower. All of that for $2,276,000 cheaper. You could buy 19 Model S Plaids and still have $44,000 left over to buy a Model 3 for the price of one Nevera.
Yep. Thanks, Brooks, for showing us all this.
Yeah.
He's the one that did.
I know. That was really awesome to see.
It was pretty awesome.
Well, and you know, the thing I like the most about it is it really puts to rest that ICE cars, that's the end. Like,
the best car that we're going to race it against now. What's it? Electric, of course.
So I just love seeing that. I'm just so glad that it wasn't, you know, a Hellcat or something else, you know. Hey, and if you're enjoying this channel, please hit the like button. Let's get that like number up.
Bing. Okay. Hardware 4, Cybertruck.
Yeah.
One of the tidbits that we gleaned from AI Day is that Elon said today's hardware version 3 computer, which is currently in many of the Tesla vehicles, is probably capable of driving around 300% better than a human driver.
But he said, obviously, there will be a hardware 4 or self-driving computer 2, which we will probably introduce with the Cybertruck maybe in about a year or so. That will be about 4 times more capable, roughly. He said that computer should be able to drive about 1,000% or roughly 10 times better than a human driver.
We just reported on how Tesla has delayed the launch of the Cybertruck to 2022.
Do you think incorporating this new hardware 4 has something to do with that delay? Or do you think that delay is because Giga Texas is a bit behind schedule? And does this point to an even further pushback in the timeline? Because honestly, I was hoping that pushback meant like January 2022, but now I'm feeling like we're talking summer 2022. What are your thoughts?
I think that's realistic. I mean, it's a couple things. I mean, right now they're trying to keep up with demand of the cars that they're producing, and they're prioritizing Model Ys and Model 3s. So as exciting as it is that we both want to get the Cybertrucks, there's a lot of variables in play. So I think it's that. I think it's also production is behind for the factory, but mostly it's coming out to the vehicles.
Do you think they'll come out with a Cybertruck that has hardware 3 and then a few months later when they get hardware 4 perfected, they'll put it in it and like update it like they've done before? Or do you think they're just going to wait?
That's hard to say because it's kind of like when they did the facial refresh. They did the front facial refresh on the Model S, and then that was right around the time that they had the hardware version 2 of all the cameras around, where you had the side markers. It was like you had versions of the front face refresh that had the flat face side markers that were just the directionals, and then you had the ones that had the cameras.
Oh, right.
So they rolled it out as quickly as they could when it was available. I don't know if they'll do that again with Cybertruck with hardware differences, because I feel like that's one of those things that's weird, because it's like people will be, the buyer's remorse of, oh no, I have 3 versus 4.
Right.
Or if they'll do 3 and then upgrade to 4 later.
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah.
It seems to make
sense. But
sense.
it also involves new cameras too. So I don't know if they'll be ready in time.
Right. Because that glass, as we've been seeing with the patents for the Tesla Cybertruck, is going to be really intense too. Yeah. So it's like, okay, that's going to be those cameras up there. So
yeah. But if you want to talk about this, there's one place to do it, and that is Cybertruck Owners Club. They sponsor this show, and you're going to find a crowdsourced reservation tracker there that you can update and find your place in line. Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts like us and future owners. All right, so we thought we'd keep you up to date on Arcimoto and their recent Q2 shareholder report.
Yeah, the big question many shareholders wanted to know was, how is production going?
It's a bit disappointing, it sounds like. Only 425 vehicles are projected to be produced this year because of COVID-related supply chain issues. But Arcimoto's balance sheet, according to CEO Mark Frohnmeyer, is the strongest it's been in its 14-year history.
Yeah, in quarter 2, Arcimoto had submitted the first draft of all their ATVM loan applications to the Department of Energy to fund a substantial expansion of their next stage growth.
Mark also talked about how Arcimoto is still a heavily shorted stock, with approximately 34% of their stock having a short interest, and that just keeps the stock price low.
Oof. Yeah, so Arcimoto has finalized the purchase of their new 200,000 square foot facility this quarter, and they should be able to start machine installation starting in September.
That is exciting. Arcimoto has completed their down selection phase with Sandy Munro and Associates. So in effect, they have identified ways to make the next version of the FUVs better and to manufacture them faster and cheaper, which is going to be cool.
Yeah. No, Arcimoto opened up a new FUV rental facility in Oregon, and they have been 25% of days that they've been booked solid.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
At the recent showcase event, we caught a glimpse of their next thing coming in the lineup, which is their new pickup truck model. This is using SherpTech's bed solution. This, I guess this bed you can extend out from the sides, make it bigger. It can fold down the sides.
Yeah, it's a bed that becomes a flatbed. So, I mean, ultimate farm truck utility right there.
Yeah, I don't think this will be a huge market, but I think when you need a small flatbed electric vehicle, this could be really cool, for campuses and for farms, like you said. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
And then, of course, we got a song from Mark at the end of the Q2 report. I don't know why I said of course, because...
well, he's done it before, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, what other company on the NASDAQ has their their quarterly reports finished off with a song? And it's a nice way to finish it. I don't think we're playing this right now, probably because of copyright reasons.
Yeah, we
but
definitely can't.
Go over to their website and check it out. All right, so this is a letter that we just got from our buddy Ross in California, and I think it's important for everybody to hear this. So it's a little long, but it's important. So the attached image is a water bill, partially singed and burnt from Pleasant Street, Colfax, California, 10 miles as the crow flies from my property, where I found this on the ground. Embers from a fire travel miles ahead of the inferno. Blackened leaves, flakes of bark, and other objects can be found in every square foot of my 5-acre property, miles from where they were sent skyward. Normally, they have extinguished by the time they land far ahead of where they took flight. Some of them, heavier and burning, land a half mile ahead of the flame front and start new fires. Thus, while it may seem safe because the flames aren't at one's doorstep, it isn't. The river fire started in a canyon by the Bear River, a place where we go to swim every summer. Within 2 hours, it had raced up the canyon and was burning homes. The water bill flew 10 miles to land on my driveway. I simply charged my Y using 110-volt power and keep it charged between 200 and 250 miles of range. This way, I didn't need to purchase a faster charger. However, sometimes I drive on a long trip, depleting the battery. At 3 to 4 miles charging per hour and 10 to 20 miles driven per day, it can take me 4 to 6 days to get back to a full charge. As it happened, I'd taken my 2 kids to the dentist, summer camps, etc. the day before the fire and the morning of the fire. My car's charge state was about 50 miles when I got an emergency alert on my phone and looked up into the sky to see a huge plume of smoke heading northwest. I was 10 miles from home. I went into the computer camp and told my son, "There's a forest fire. We need to leave." It was an hour early. He said, "I'm not finished yet. Just a few more minutes," thinking I was pretending to get him to hurry up. I wasn't. I repeated the assertion, swiveling his chair and staring into his eyes so he knew I was serious, and off we went. We drove down back roads to as close as we could get before barricades had been set up to discern how close the fire was to ours and relatives' homes. Under the thick smoke plume, it was raining warm, sticky pine needles from a few thousand feet above our heads. We were in an open meadow void of trees, and the debris had been sent flying from a mile away. From the wind's forecast and current path, as well as roads and air attack bombers stationed in Grass Valley making 8-minute round trips, I was reasonably confident that the fire wouldn't reach us that night. Our closest home was 2.5 miles from the flame front. So we headed back to communicate what we had learned to our neighbors, busy packing to evacuate, and one thinking he could fight the fire if it came. He would have been killed if it had. With about 40 miles range left, I knew my charger could never fully charge my Y overnight to be ready to evacuate, so I headed to the grandparents' house. They have a faster home charger. From their deck, we had an unobstructed view of the fire front and 5 air bombers, 2 converted KCs flying from Mathers Air Force Base, a DC-10 jet flying from Chico, and our 2 bombers, former sub-hunters. We watched several intense black plumes of smoke make a line straight up into the sky as house after home was consumed by the advancing flames. 2 to 5 miles away, the smoke rose from locations filling a 45-degree angle of our view. By nightfall, a few hours later, the air and ground attack had swiftly shut down the crown fire, giving the ground crews time to mop up the fire, now slowly consuming the brush and grasses as it met country roads at the edges of our communities. Thankfully, the bombers had been directed to our fire to shut it down quickly before it grew larger, and we were lucky there wasn't a strong wind as well as cool nights. But I learned that while using 110 volts to charge my Model Y is normally fine, when an emergency happens, and at the same time the car is at a low charge state, it can be dangerous. I am now installing a faster home charger and will carry the 110-volt charger in the car. The fire is essentially out now, though the Dixie Fire rages out of control 60 miles to the north, darkening our skies, reddening our sun, and filling our air with smoke. They're still dealing with loss. We were lucky. Being threatened with evacuation from a fire, tornado, hurricane, or anything else with a low battery state of charge isn't safe. It removes one's ability to flee at a moment's notice. This experience has made clear that having a faster charger at home isn't just nicer, it's also safer. So thank you, Ross. I think this is a really important story. We all want to save money. We all want to do what's easiest. And so 110 charging seems like a great option, but it's true. There are times when you need to get to a hospital or you need to get somewhere far. And if you've only got 30 or 40 miles in the tank or less, you're going to be stuck. So I think it really is a good warning for all of us to get a level 2 charger at home if you can and keep your car charged up to, 70, 80%.
I mean, washer dryer plug is usually the solution for that.
Exactly.
Most homes do have that ability.
Right.
So
yeah,
that was heavy. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh. Okay, so GM's recall gets worse.
Yeah, on Friday, GM announced that they would be expanding the Chevy Bolt recall to include all Bolts. That's right. The recall now includes Bolts made here in the U.S. and the 2022 Bolts.
And this recall now includes the Bolt EUV as well.
Yeah, GM put out a press release saying General Motors is voluntarily expanding the current Chevrolet Bolt EV recall to cover the remaining 2019 and all 2020 through 2022 model year vehicles, including the Bolt EUV. In rare circumstances, the batteries supplied to GM for those vehicles may have 2 manufacturing defects, a torn anode tab and folded separator, present in the same battery cell, which increases the risk of fire. Out of an abundance of caution, GM will replace defective battery modules in Chevrolet Bolt EVs and EUVs with new modules with an expected additional cost of approximately $1 billion.
An abundance of caution? $1 billion additional dollars?
Yeah.
This recall's for all the Bolts. And it begs the question, wait, why didn't they do it sooner?
Exactly. If you're doing an abundance of caution, why'd you wait for more and more fires? I mean, we're talking about fires, and these are fires that can occur in your garage, so it burns down your house, which has happened. So now they're telling all Bolt owners to not park their cars in their houses.
Yeah, after Ross's letter, that was...
I know, right?
Who slated these next to each
I know,
other?
right? Yeah, they're both fire
Awful.
stories. One of them could have been avoided, though. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what's sad
absolutely.
here is
Yeah.
that, like, I think GM basically just ran the numbers and they're like, well, can we just,
Is this
you know,
a calculated risk? Can
yeah.
we do this?
and that's what they did. All right, I want to talk about Mad Max Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
right.
really excited about what you guys just built on the channel. If you guys haven't checked this out, go over to the Rich Rebuilds channel, see what Steven and Rich and the guys from Grind Hard Plumbing Company.
They're not plumbers.
They're not plumbers?
No.
Then why are they called?
I know. I was disappointed too.
But they're good with welding.
Ethan and Edwin are incredible.
We mentioned this last week on the show. This is the Tesla Model 3 that you guys took as a salvage Tesla, and then you basically turned it into this beast, this off-road beast, and you were kind enough to let me take it for an off-road run this week.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, it was super fun. Like, I didn't kind of get it when I got in it because I was just like, I know how Teslas accelerate, but I've never accelerated a Tesla off-road before, and this gave me a glimpse into Cybertruck.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the point of why we did the build. It's like, I mean, we're waiting for our Cybertrucks, but also it's just the capabilities of electric anywhere. This is the smackdown. This is
Also,
everything.
It's just eerie. We're used to the silence on the roads,
Yeah.
but when you take this thing into the wilderness and then you're silently ripping around, it's just this, your brain is now just blown away in a whole new way. Like, all you're hearing is the sound of the grass and the sound of, like, you know, the branches hitting the car. We didn't scare any wildlife. No one knew we were there. Like, this is amazing.
No, it was actually pretty. My brother and I took it out, and we actually went to a power line, and we were able to sneak up on a police officer who was, you know, doing a speed trap, and he had no idea that we were there. And I was just like, it would have been better if this was, you know, seeing deer, but like, it was just hilarious. It's just like, you're just like, all right, we should probably turn around, you know, just get on up out of there. It just goes to show you that this is going to be incredible for recreational use as well.
I kind of feel like Tesla should make this as an option.
I would like that.
I mean, basically, it's lifted up higher. It's like a Model Y in terms of height now.
Yeah.
And
We
like,
did a 2-inch lift. We had to make one because there is no lift made for
Right.
such vehicle.
and it just felt right. Like, it just felt amazing. I don't know. I feel like Tesla, if you're watching, like, I don't think it would take that much to make this option. You got all the parts, basically. I mean, that cool hood that we're seeing here, that's the Tesla hood. You just basically.
Yes. So essentially what happened was with the front bumper, it was destroyed anyways, and we were going to remove it to put our crash bar on, and the radiators were in the way, and we wanted to have that 12,000 pound winch. So what we did was we relocated both radiators, both for the battery and cooling and for the air conditioning, up top, and we're like, well, to get better airflow, let's cut out a hole in the hood. And
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, so the underside, I mean, if you haven't seen the underside of your hood, I mean, go open your frunk. Like, it is this hexagonal pattern that just looks really neat. So it doubles as functionality of just making it more look like an Overlander or something out of Mad Max, but also just airflow as well.
You know, if like Evannex or others are watching, I feel like you could make a plexiglass insert. You would cut off your. I mean, that would be really cool to see what's under there. I don't know. That's just a great build.
Thanks.
Really exciting. If you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Tesla has made another seemingly small change to its order page, but I think it's important to report on these changes because not only do they affect potential Tesla customers, but even if you're not currently ordering a Tesla, it gives us all possible insights into their demand.
Yeah, Tesla actually increased its non-refundable order fee from $100 to $250.
All right, so now what is the order fee? Because the last time I remembered when I ordered a Tesla car a couple years back, there was a $1,000 refundable deposit.
Yeah, so Tesla changed that non-refundable order fee back in 2019. Remember that you used to be able to return the car, no questions asked, within 7 days. But then Tesla ended that return policy last year and kept the $100 order fee. Now Tesla has increased that order fee to $250.
Okay, so when I place an order for a Tesla now, I'll pay a $250 fee, and if I change my mind later and cancel it, they'll keep that fee?
Correct.
Oh, okay. So why are they doing this? You think a lot of people are like ordering and canceling?
It's a good question, actually. I think there are probably some people that do impulse things. It's really easy to just go, I mean, Rich stole my credit card and bought me a Plaid. It was really kind of him, you know, like anybody could do it. So I think that, you know, if a kid wants to like accidentally go on, it's so easy to do.
Yeah, I feel like $100 makes it so that you'll just do it on an impulse, but then a lot of people must just be like, yeah, forget it. And then now Tesla's stuck with your car, you know.
Correct. And
whatever.
I mean, it's work on their end. So
Right.
it's like, okay, if we're going to do that, we might as well we'll raise the stakes so it's more, you know.
So
concrete.
what does this show us about demand? To me, it says that there is plenty of demand and that they can do it without.
Well, we know there's a lot of demand. I mean, Model 3 sold out for the end of the year.
Right.
But I think it's more so just those being serious versus tire kickers or kids ordering cars or whatever it may be.
Plus, I got to imagine this money goes into an account that Tesla can actually use right
Yeah,
away because
liquid.
it's not a refundable deposit.
Right.
It's their money. So
Correct.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The Genesis GV60 crossover. So Genesis, which is Hyundai's luxury division, has just released images of their first electric car, the GV60 crossover SUV.
Now, the GV60 is based on Hyundai's eGIMP platform. That stands for Electric Global Modular Platform. And it was co-developed by startup company Canoe.
Yeah, GIMP's a weird word to choose
Yeah,
for
they
that,
shouldn't have.
marketing's not everybody's forte. So the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6 are also built on this platform.
Yeah, in 2017, Genesis said they would have an all-electric sedan by 2021, which we reported a few months ago will be the G80 sedan, and it looks like they missed that target.
Yeah, well, the press release was light on the specs and price, but we do get some interior and exterior images, and we have a target North American delivery start date of 2022.
I hope they do a better job than VW did with the ID4 with this GIMP platform. Also, this doesn't look like a luxury vehicle to me. I mean, how about you? I don't know.
Genesis, I will say some of them do look pretty attractive.
But I mean, Genesis for a while had this like overbuilt look to it, like a Bentley kind of look to it.
They went for the Bentley grille, yeah. They
And-
had that cross chrome grille that was just like right off a Bentley.
And this just doesn't seem to fit that, but I don't know.
Well, they wanted to go the EV route of, not having the grille,
Right.
but it doesn't actually hold up to what they've normally done. I will give you that.
Yeah, I wonder what the price point's going to be. I just have so many questions about stats and price. So to me, this isn't real until they start showing up and,
That's true.
and we get the stats. But
I like the back and the side profile. It's just the front's kind of a miss for me. But
yeah.
we'll see.
I think so many car companies don't know what to do with the front grille. They're still lost when it's like, do we just delete it or do we overemphasize it? Like, I
Right.
don't know.
No, that's a good point. A pair of camouflage Model 3s were spotted in India last week.
Yeah, this has caused a lot of conjecture. Will Tesla be building a factory in India?
Oh, let's hold on now. But I mean, it's more likely Tesla is just getting ready to start selling Model 3s in India.
Yeah, I think that's much more likely. I mean, many people have commented that the suspension on these two camouflage cars looks higher than normal. Does that look true to you?
It's hard to say because if you're going to look at it, you got to look at the tire to the wheel well.
Right.
And if you're looking at the back of the rear side of a Model 3, it's tricky. The camouflage is throwing people off. I mean, it could also just be other variables like the we're not used to seeing those could be different tires.
Right.
Even still, because I mean, they might have a stronger tread for all weather there. I mean, my guess is that they might have done something like that to compensate for the less than perfect roads, but I don't think they lifted it or did anything like that.
We got a lot of comments last week when we talked about the India story. A lot of people from India were saying that, India has been really nice to Tesla and invited them to come. And so, of course, they're going to be coming. And I'm like, it's great if you're being nice to Tesla, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to a bunch of other factors. One of them being, if we open this factory there, which is going to cost a lot of money, will the demand be high enough for a very expensive electric vehicle? And is the infrastructure ready for it? I mean, they have to know that they can put superchargers everywhere and that those will stay online, 99% of the time. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of questions that Tesla needs to figure out, and this is probably what they're doing. They're starting to drive them around and find out if the roads can support it, if the charging can support it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an inevitability. I don't think it's the next on the list for gigafactories that's going to show up, but...
And I mean, my guess would be they're going to have to wait until the Model 2 is ready, because I think that would be more of a perfect car for India.
Right.
All right, it's time for the Starman Report, and Eli is not in his normal studio this week.
Welcome back to the Starman Report. I'm Eli Burton, your host, and this week I don't have a report for you because I am currently out in Europe on the tour to Tesla with my Tesla adventure, traveling Europe and sleeping in the Tesla with my dream case. You can follow our adventure real time on my Twitter account at @EliBurton_, and after the trip you can see the full tour at youtube.com/myteslaadventure. I'll be out until the first week of September, but until then, thank you so much for watching this segment of the Starman Report, and I look forward to having you back for more of the most exciting news in space.
So Eli, are you trying to make us jealous? Because it's working. You're driving around with your Dreamcase, and I just want to talk about this. For those of you, it's been a while, maybe you haven't heard about Dreamcase. Steve and I have checked out the Dreamcase.
I've camped many times in that.
So comfortable, so awesome. We're showing you some footage here of Jesse's review of the Dreamcase. Basically, it fits into the back of your car, and you can pop out and have a bed anytime you want. So yes, I am super jealous that Eli is driving around with his buddy Frost, the designer and maker of Dreamcase. If you guys are looking for a sleep-in car solution, this is a fantastic solution. You should go check it out right now. So while Eli is off on his fun trip to Europe, I thought we'd update everyone on what's been going on this week in space. The big news, of course, being that Jeff Bezos...
Who?
continued with his lawsuit against NASA to block them from giving SpaceX the moon landing project. SpaceX agreed to halt the progress if the court would agree to a decision by November 1st. Basically, they don't want a never-ending court battle, right? And so the court seems to have agreed to give a decision by November 1st. So it seems that there will be testimony given by both sides in October. I don't know if we're going to see Elon on the stand here, and a decision handed down by November 1st.
Just that's wonderful visual. You get to see the two Titans
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't exactly. I
doubt it.
I kind of doubt it too, but I mean, he's the chief engineer or chief rocket scientist of SpaceX, so maybe he'll be called on the stand. I mean, who better to explain whether they can make it or not?
This just seems like a waste of time.
It really does, especially since, last week we showed you that tweet of Jeff Bezos saying like that the number one thing holding up space exploration is when CEOs sue, which he just is doing.
Yeah, the irony you could cut with a butter knife on that one. Huh?
Sore loser, dude.
Ah, strange.
All right, it's time for Into the Future. Scientists in Australia at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology have just announced a novel design for a water turbine, a new dual turbine design that they claim can harvest twice the energy from waves as current designs.
Yeah, conventional design today, like the one from Ocean Power Technologies, is a point observer buoy. It rides up and down on ocean waves and it captures the ocean's energy, but it requires sensors and actuators to synchronize with the buoy for oncoming waves. Our MIT's design does away with the need for sensors and actuators. It's passive and therefore simpler, and it requires less maintenance, and it could potentially be cheaper to build and to maintain.
Lead researcher, Professor Zhu Wang, says, by always staying in sync with the movement of the waves, we can maximize the energy that's harvested. Combined with our unique counter-rotating dual turbine wheels, this prototype can double the output power harvested from ocean waves compared with other experimental point absorber technologies. And
so cool.
This is so cool. I mean, this is new already. It's only been like 20 years since they've started making these kind of power buoys. Sure. But the fact that like we've got these smart minds working on ways to make it even better, and the fact that we have waves, like
we do have waves.
We got them.
The moon is coming closer and further.
Right? So we've got the waves. Let's harness that energy. I think it's great that we have all these smart minds working on renewable energy. All right, it's time for Going Green, and we are brought to you by EcoWare. And I've been looking forward to this news, by the way. Bobby and I have been working with our buddy Bill at Rocking KB Ranch in Wisconsin to bring you his amazing honey and honey-based products. So now you can not only find our amazing t-shirts, sweatshirts, phone cases, pillows, baby onesies, pet shirts, towels, stickers, mugs. Now we also have awesome natural honey and moisturizing lotions from our friends at Rocking KB Ranch.
It's funny that lithium-ion battery was partly invented and commercialized in Japan way back in the 1990s, but Japan hasn't widely adopted lithium-ion energy grid battery storage
until now.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, according to a Tesla Japan press release, Japanese energy aggregation company Global Engineering ordered a Tesla Megapack to be installed on the Japanese island of Hokkaido.
Yeah, so this 1.5 megawatt / 6 megawatt hour Megapack will be one of the largest lithium-ion batteries in Japan to date, and it should go online next year.
Tesla started selling residential Powerwalls in Japan last year, and they have been really popular.
Yeah, actually, Tesla deployed almost 1.3 gigawatt hours of batteries last quarter. That's a 204% increase over the same period a year before.
Yeah, I think this is really cool. A lot of utilities still don't get it, right? They just don't get batteries. And so they need to see other utilities doing it and then see that it works, that it's safe, that it's cost effective. And then they're like, oh, why aren't we doing this? And
well,
I
they're
think
just not receptive to change either.
Exactly.
Too. Some of them, like they get this data, they get to see these results, and they're just like,
right,
fine.
Right.
It's weird, really.
It is weird. But change is...
it's like the bots.
Right.
Optimus. Subprime. People are afraid of change.
People are afraid of change.
It's coming.
All right, it's time for Sunspots. Now, we're sticking this under sunspots because even though this is technically battery news, batteries and solar go hand in hand. As solar grows, we need more battery storage.
And we're getting more. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, or EIA, at the end of 2020, the U.S. battery power capacity has reached 1.65 gigawatts of power capacity. And notice I didn't say gigawatt hours, because we're talking about it here and how much max power these batteries can discharge at any given moment.
Yeah, it is confusing, right?
Right.
There's power and there's energy. Mm-hmm. In this case, we're talking about power, how much power they can push at any second. So this is exciting. U.S. utilities have plans to install more than 10 gigawatts of additional battery power over the next 2 years. That's 10 times the power capacity we had in 2019.
Yeah, 5 states account for more than 70% of all U.S. battery storage capacity. California is number 1, no surprise there to anybody, with 506 megawatt, or 31% of all U.S. battery storage. And that's followed by Texas, Illinois, Massachusetts, our home place, and Hawaii.
And interesting to note that currently 30% of large battery storage is co-located with solar and wind turbines. But get this, the EIA says they expect that will increase to 60% by 2023. So only 2 years from now, they think there'll be basically a doubling of battery storage with solar and with wind, which is really cool.
Finally. And while we're in the sunspot section of the show, I wanted to mention that this new solar survey just came out. 1,500 U.S. homeowners were surveyed by Schleichinger Group, which is an independent research company.
Yeah, 40% of respondents worry about power outages on a monthly basis, and more than 50% had experienced a power outage in the last year.
Yeah, it depends on where you live, but 1/3 of those considering getting solar for their home cited high-profile power outages as a key driver, which, yes, it should be.
Yeah. 70% plan to purchase battery storage versus only 6% last year. So in just the course of a year, so many more people have heard about battery storage and its awesomeness.
Probably because they were personally affected by it.
Probably.
Bad weather, and they're like, oof,
yeah,
I should probably look into that. Those who experienced a power outage in the last year are almost 4 times as likely to have purchased solar panels and storage versus those who haven't experienced power outages, which makes complete sense.
Yeah. Lowering energy bills is the number one reason homeowners invested in solar. A close second was power outages.
And interestingly enough, 79% of people considering solar cite cost as a prohibitive reason, but 60% of all respondents overestimate the average cost of going solar.
Yeah, it's funny. So I think in a lot of people's minds, they're either dealing with old numbers they heard, or like some neighbor told them something, and they're just like, that's the number that's stuck in their head. And like, well, I can't go solar because it's too expensive.
50 grand for my roof?
Right.
All set.
But it's like, you need to find out the number. And if you need to find out the number, but you don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, head over to our friends at Energy Pal. They are the energy geeks that know this stuff. They keep up on all the latest numbers. They'll do this for you for free. Just tell them that Zach and Steven sent you.
They powered our Sprinter van that we did on the Richard Build channel as well.
Oh, the solar-powered Sprinter van. Nice. All right, it's time for our video contributor story, and we've got Tim with his father and son trip to Giga Texas and Starbase, and this was just a few days ago, so we're getting updated footage.
Cool.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. Tim here talking about an epic road trip from Texas Gigafactory to Starbase. So here we go. We took a jet from Newark Airport down to Austin, and that was a 3-hour flight or so, and then went to Austin and looked at the Texas Gigafactory is only 5 miles away, and then we went down to Boca Chica Beach. My question is, where are all the little men? They're not working.
Yep.
Should I go and tell them all to get to work?
Oh, well.
Hey, get to work and build my Cybertruck.
Nice.
They're not kicking us out right away. We got a security guy back here. Apparently we weren't supposed to be here. Can you wait long enough for us to be an interplanetary species?
I can't. Absolutely not.
I want it now.
I'm speechless.
No words can describe.
That's correct.
The 2 silver starships in front of us. And here are the, I believe, number 2 and number 3rd largest cranes in the world. Here are the cryo tanks next to the launch tower, supplying fuel for the fuel and oxidizer for the Starship and the booster. At Boca Chica Beach in Texas, and we're at the Starbase facility. Behind me is Starbase. That's the Starship thermal tiles. Here's a shot of the booster in the high bay.
Take a picture, please.
Yes, I will take a picture. After I take this. Oh my God, we finally made it. So I took this series of video to show the scale of this thing. You know, compared to a man working on one of the rings. It actually may be 3 rings stacked together there. So thanks for watching Tim's Tips videos, and please subscribe.
Well, thank you, Tim. That was awesome to see up close. I mean, I saw that you got kicked out of Giga Texas, but so close. It's so cool that you can get so close at Starbase and basically do it legally. So that's awesome.
It's
Looks
neat
like a
to see
fun
the
trip.
scale when you look at the boom. And you're like, knowing the size of what the boom crane is, and then seeing that next to it, it's like,
yeah,
man, those are huge.
Yeah. All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories, and we've got a bunch of cool stories coming up this week. We've got the Tesla Supercharger expansion and a solar-powered Safari vehicle that you're going to check out.
Ooh.
So if you want to check those out, head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow. Support us for as little as $1 a month, and you'll get to check out all of our bonus stories.
Nice.
right, we're back from our Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the shout outs. Who do we got this week?
Well, you started off.
He looked it down the list and he knew he was giving me the hard ones.
I knew.
All right.
Yep.
Normally I try and pawn these off on Jesse.
I
but
know.
Here we go.
I don't fool for that.
Ivan Galindo.
Eric.
Man, you got an easy one right off the
I
bat.
know.
Gilles Chinesu.
John Taylor.
Philip.
John Diaz.
Marcos Luis.
Hopefully Little.
Blair Campbell.
Michael Michaud.
Michael Penderson.
21st Century Bill of Rights.
Abraham Espinoza.
GreenEventsNA.com.
Laurent Ulrich.
Tom Benny.
Gaston Borelli.
Michael Hutchinson.
James Jacobs.
William Tedford.
Daniel Larinaga.
Boette Bakers.
George Chacon.
Mike Schultz.
And James. Thank you so much, everybody. We cannot do the show without you. All right, it's time for Elon's Tweets of the Week. And Clean Technica tweeted out this story about how Tesla's latest SEC filings state that Tesla wants Robin Denholm to stay on as chair of the Tesla board of directors. And Elon responded,
Robin is great.
yeah, so there'd been some conjecture that maybe Elon wanted to come back as chair. Remember, he was kicked out by the SEC, but he's happy not to be chair.
No,
he knows
plenty
Robin's
happy.
doing a great job. Marquez Brownlee tweeted, it really is challenging not to share every single new Boston Dynamics video.
Yeah, that video is actually awesome. And Elon even said, impressive.
Yeah. And that was before AI Day. Maybe.
He's taking notes.
Yeah.
He's always been taking
Yeah.
notes. Yeah.
Delta 4 Heavy said, Starship is one of the coolest looking rockets out there, but dear God, SN5 and 6 were the dumbest looking things to ever fly.
It does look like a water bottle. Just kind of look at that. It's like, huh, what the hell? And Elon responded to that. You can make anything fly.
I mean,
Haha.
SpaceX could have like a water company and they could just, put their logo on the side and that could be their advertising.
It's just a water silo that just goes up. I even did the haha like Elon would. He goes, haha.
Mark tweeted out the truth about Tesla. One does not simply understand acceleration until having been in a Tesla.
I love that meme. And Elon said, true.
Amy Aker said, I cannot wait to see this. So excited for you, Lisa Joy Nolan. It is Reminiscence. Yeah, this is that new, it's coming out on HBO, I think.
Yeah.
And so what's this product ideas mean? Like, isn't this about like going back in time and remembering experiences? So what, Elon? Neuralink.
It's probably
Wait,
something.
so you're saying that like you could pay Neuralink to give you back your memories and
It
stuff?
could access data in the past.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Why
wouldn't you
wouldn't it?
pay for that? Like, right? And for us SpaceX nerds out there, Elon said, by the way, there's a slight error with forward flap design. Moving section is needed for control, but passive section is counterproductive as it pushes nose backwards. New design rotates the forward flaps more to leeward and further forward to improve moment arm, maybe 120 degrees apart. Okay.
Forward flap.
So then Casper put that into actuality and he said, like this?
And Elon responded to that, probably slightly further forward, smaller, more inward. No funny looking static arrow at top, as static arrow no longer directly in the flow.
Wow, I'm glad someone understood what he was talking about.
Yeah, well, who would if anybody but Elon?
Then Adam said, I'd like to introduce you to Tesla's PR manager, Elon Musk. Any questions?
Jesus. And Elon just laughs, haha, again.
Ross Gerber said, I canceled Apple News, a major source of negativity in my life.
And Elon said, same.
Interesting. I don't get Apple News. Do you get Apple News? Is it negative?
I don't really follow much
No?
news. I choose Tesla Time News for my
Nice.
news source, or
Nice.
that's about it.
This tweet from Physics and Astronomy Zone saying physics is fun, and let's just play a bit about why this is fun.
Huh. Yeah. Elon says, low center of mass, bit like our ship and booster on reentry.
And Vincent tweeted out about Tasmanian's article on how Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives thinks that Giga Berlin will put an end to Tesla's logistical supply nightmare. Elon said,
Will make a big difference.
Interesting. Let's hope he's right. James Wang said Tesla AI Day is probably the greatest technology presentation since 2007. It's also an absolute masterclass on AI. Dimitri said, thoughts on Dojo neural net training as a service? Will that be a thing in your opinion?
Elon just straight up said yes.
And if you want to learn more about that, check out our Now You Know Investor Club bonus story this week. All right, so we put out a poll, and it was your thoughts on Optimus. And what do people have to say?
Huh. Well, we had 35 people say, this is a dystopia nightmare, run. I mean, you can run faster than 5, so okay.
For now.
Yeah, for now. And then humanoid robot, yes, I want one. 334 people agreed. Looks cool, but they'll never pull it off. 31 people are negative Nancy's out there in the world. Huh. Well, tell me tell me what you've done. I'd love to know. Wait, what? I thought he was just joking. 48 people said.
So, yeah, overwhelmingly positive. That's great.
I mean, how could you not?
I know.
How could you not?
I know. All right, it's time for community mail time.
Community mail time.
Remember to send in your stories to hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. Robert caught these photos of the Lucid Air on Highway 101 north of Los Angeles a few days ago.
Yeah.
So they're continuing their testing, and this one's not really camouflaged anymore, which is cool.
No, they don't care. I mean, it's blatant what a Lucid looks like.
Right, we
They're
all
beautiful vehicles.
Ryan shared with us what Tesla gives their employees having a baby. So first of all, congratulations, Ryan. And pretty cool that Tesla sends you this cool stuff like, I'm in charge.
I want that for
That's
my
so
nephew.
cool.
That's awesome. Ryan, get another one and send it to us, please. I'll pay whatever.
Guillaume sent us this Model S police car he spotted in Gates Mills, Ohio. He said it didn't seem to have any special hardware on the inside, but it did have some police lights retrofitted in the bumpers.
We can comment on that, though. I mean, with Westport,
Right.
their retrofit was very casual and it was onboard computers, so you wouldn't notice half the things. I mean, even the strobes. So what do we got to perform? That's a refreshed front fascia performance.
Nice. You're not getting away from that thing,
No,
unless you're in a Plaid, maybe.
Yeah,
that's your only way.
Literally your
criminals.
only choice, or unless you have a Rimac, but probably not.
Our buddy Fred in California, the inventor of the fabulous moretesla.com, and if you haven't been there, you got to go there, told us about these 22 new EV chargers in California's Central Valley that are really hard to find. So he's helping us find them. Here's the map. They were built by Caltrans. They appear to be free to use. And in fact, some of them are completely solar powered, but they don't appear to show up on any map. So here's a list of where you can find them if you're in the area. And yeah, put those on PlugShare and other places so people can find them and let us know if they're any good. And you know what? I'm going to hold off on all of the colored Teslas till next week when Jesse comes back, because he's the one who asked for it. And I want to make sure that he is careful of what he asked for. So you'll be seeing a lot more colorful Teslas next week.
Oh, wow. People doing raps.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Everybody wants to be a rapper.
All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews. Let's see what we got this week. But before we get to that, Ryan has a review of the Supercharger in Liberty, Missouri that is still under construction.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I am here at the Liberty, Missouri Supercharger. It is still under construction. There are a total of 8 stalls that are being here. They are version 3 stalls. It's kind of been at a standstill for a little while. The Supercharger has actually been in this state for about 2 or 3 weeks now. There is a fence still around the transformer box there, but all the stalls are technically open, just non-functional. And you can see there's another gated area in the back there that has some of the extra supplies from when they were building it. This Supercharger is located in the shopping center parking lot of a Hy-Vee grocery store. There is an Olive Garden just back there. There is a Mod pizza place across the street. Ross clothing store, Dick's Sporting Goods, Lowe's within a short walk. Lots of different amenities that are here. Most of them are only open during the daytime, so limited access to nighttime restrooms and such, unless you hit up a local gas station before stopping to supercharge. But otherwise, a relatively close location to the I-35 freeway, which is about just under a mile west of here. So all in all, I would say this is at least a 7 out of 10. We're super excited for this Supercharger to open. Now you know.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. Jim Curtis here from Placerville, California. And at this brand newly opened Supercharger here in Placerville, the second one we have in Placerville. It's on the way to South Lake Tahoe, so it's a perfect place to stop. It's got right off the freeway here. It's in a Target parking lot, so we got I think 8 stalls, and they all appear to be level 3 250 kilowatt chargers, so that's good. In this area, we have all sorts of different food options with a Mexican restaurant back there. There's a pizza place, and of course you can go into the Target itself and get food in there if you want to. I think there's a Starbucks in there for that. Like I said, we're right off the freeway, and here's my Arcimoto. I didn't have my Tesla today, so thought I'd drive over here, and such a beautiful day. Take the FUV out, and I would rate this a 9 out of 10 because it's really just in the perfect location for going to South Lake Tahoe for people from the Bay Area. So it's one-stop charging, and then head all the way up to South Lake Tahoe. And now you know.
Hello Zach, hello Jesse, this is Victor. Today I was at the new Supercharger at Südmarschhausen, where there are currently 12 version 3 chargers available. This is located just off the motorway between Munich and Stuttgart, the A8. Currently the whole site is still under construction. Over here there's going to be a business centre with shops, cafes and meeting rooms. Currently the only toilets that are available are in porta cabins. These are probably for the construction workers, but there's nothing stopping you from using them. Over here we're going to have parking. There's going to be around about 150 chargers in total, I believe, ranging from 50 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. Close by in the town itself, probably about 15 minutes walk away, are a few shops, but it doesn't really matter that there's quite a distance to the city, because what they will be doing is having click and buy facilities, so you can reserve your shopping online from local shops and they'll be ready to be collected at the business centre. Through the tunnel there is the building of the company who is organising all this, but as you can see there is still quite a lot left to do. Interior of the building is pretty much still empty. At the Supercharger itself it's already open, and as you can see it's quite well used. And the whole building should be finished probably towards the end of summer. So now you know.
Hey Zach and Jesse, this is Alan Chase from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Finally happy to announce that we have our own superchargers here in our area. 16 stall level 3 and I believe 4 megapack. I would say this shopping center is pretty good. There's a bunch of amenities around here. However, they're really only open during the day, and if you're passing through down on 202 in the middle of the night, well, your options are going to be very limited. While there is a bunch of places around here that are great and worth checking out, get a bite to eat, they're just not within safe walking distance. I would give this Supercharger, I would give the location a 7 out of a 10, but I would definitely give the Superchargers in King of Prussia a 10 out of a 10. Now you know.
Hi Zach and Jesse, it's Mark here in Yea in Victoria, Australia. I'm here with Stealth getting a charge at the 4-stall Supercharger. It is located behind the Foodworks supermarket in the middle of town, so there's all the other town facilities, and it's gateway to the Lake Eildon and Mount Buller and the Victorian Alps. Quite a lovely location. Certainly it's not overly busy. I would give this a 9 out of 10. Now you know. Bye.
Well, thank you, everybody. I love seeing new superchargers going online. All right, so let's see what the newest superchargers are in the world. We got number 6 in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, an 8-stall version 3 in Zabil, UAE.
Number 28 in Georgia, an 8-stall 250 kilowatt in Adairsville.
The 16-stall 250 kilowatt in Carlsbad at the Premium Outlets in California.
Number 236 in California, a 20-stall 250 kilowatt in San Marcos.
Number 46 in South Korea is the 3-stall version 3 in Dongtang, South Korea.
Number 43 in Australia, a 3-stall 250 kilowatt Williams, Western Australia.
And number 37 in Spain, number 681 in Europe, number 2899 in the world is the 8-stall version 3 in Ondara, Spain.
250 kilowatts just going up.
Nice.
Everywhere.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaways. Grab that big bucket of fun and let's see if we can get a winner. So we're giving away a $30 gift card to EcoWare as we do every week. Remember, we completely offset your purchases, and when you get a T, we plant 10 trees. So who's our winner this week? Oh, it's sipping on the honey there. That's right. We also have honey at EcoWare.
Richard Cathol.
Congratulations, Richard. You are the winner of a $30 gift card. Thank you so much for being our Patreon. And as you're seeing, starting right about now, we got the Patreon list swinging by here, and you're like, how did those people get their names on there? Well, they became our Patreons, and for $5 or more a month, you get a shout out and your name on the credits forevermore at the end of Tesla Time News. So if you're wanting that, head on over to Patreon and do that. Thank you so much for filling in for Jesse. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and you get some money out of it.
Yeah, what the heck? It's sweet. It's a sweet gig.
Next week is going to be our 260th episode, which, if you do the math, is 5 years straight. I'm pretty proud of that. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but hopefully, hopefully it'll happen. Yeah, 5 years where basically we haven't had a weekend off. So there's some talk. I'm just going to, since you waited to the end of the show, and you're obviously a big fan if you watch the show this long.
Huge fan.
Jesse and I are talking about maybe moving the show to Tuesday. Now, don't riot or anything. I think we used to have different shows on different days, right? Didn't we? Didn't we have like In Depth on Tuesday right after Test Time News? And everything worked fine when we moved it to Fridays. No one died or anything.
It was hard to do them day after day.
It was. It was a lot of work. So we're thinking of moving it to Tuesday so that we can get one of our weekend days back. Because right now, basically, as Steven is learning, well, you're a YouTuber too. You work pretty much all weekend, but because you put out a show on Sunday. Like Rich Rebuilds' show goes out on Sunday, so you're working all weekend as well.
Yeah, I gotta go do that after this.
Exactly, right. You're double working. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it'd be nice to get our weekends back. So comment below if you think you would just, absolutely leave us if we move the show to Tuesday. But we're thinking of doing that so we can get one of our days back on Saturday. We'll see how it goes. Nothing sure yet, just putting it out there. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
Now you know.